Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Sishyate Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Now we are doing one of the important slokas also in this chapter. Yajnavalkya starts after discussing the Srishti Sthiti Laya. Now he is going to tell Atyantika Pralayam, called Atyantika Pralayam. Vidyaranya calls this as Atyantika Pralayam. And so what is Atyantika Pralayam? It is final dissolution. Remember, I asked what are the pralayams and all, so many. There are different types of pralayams, and this is the final pralayam. What is the final pralayam? Let's see what Yajnavalkya says. Sayatha Saindhava Kilya Sayatha Saindhava Kilya Udake Prasta Udakameva Anuviliyeta Nahasyotra Grahana Yena Syat Yato Yataswadaditi Davanameva Evam va ara idam Mahadbhutam Anantam Aparam Vijnana Ghana Eva Etebhyo Bhutebhyaha Samastaya Tanvayu Tanye Vanu Vinasyati Napretya Sanyastiti Are Bruvimiti Ko Vacha Yajnavalkyaha. So, Sayatha, just as. So, when you say just as, so an example is given here. Saundhava Kilya. Saundhava is that which is actually come from Sindhu. It is essentially a salt here. So Saindhava Kilya. Kilya is a piece, a chunk or a crystal. So just as this piece or crystal of the salt, Udake Prasta, which is thrown into, Prasta is thrown into, Udake means into the waters. Just as when I take a piece of salt and throw into the waters, into the ocean, Udakameva anuviliyata. It gets dissolved or disappears into the water itself. It becomes one with the water. This way, no, right? If you put salt in the water, it will get. Naha asya et asid grahanameva syat yato grahanameva na grahanameva. So no one can remove that particular salt out of that ocean. Follow that carefully. Somebody can remove another thing on this life, but no one can remove that particular salt that went in, which dissolved in it, can remove it back. Yato yato swadaditi lavanameva. Wherever you taste anywhere in the water, you will see salt. Means everything looks salty. It dissolves so much and become uniform, so you cannot separate this part is only where the salt is and that part is still without salt. You cannot say, because salt pervades the whole thing after. It becomes one with it, but it is not localized anywhere. It becomes with the whole thing as one. So you cannot differentiate that, you cannot remove it, but it became one with the whole thing, so therefore anywhere you touch it, it is there. You follow? That is the essence of the meaning. Sayatha, in the same way, evam va ara idam are idam mahadbhutam anantam aparam jnanam vijnana ghana eva. In the same way, says, my dear, this idam mahadbhutam anantam aparam, so he is defining that the totality in this description, that ocean that is being, that ocean, that which is anantam and aparam. Anantam is endless, and aparam is there is no division. Aparam also means in the same actual. No aparam means no edge for it, but it means it is non-differentiable anywhere. Vijnana ghana eva. It is pure consciousness alone. So this point is from the point of consciousness, which is prajnana ghanam, which is ghanam is indivisible, that which cannot be separated, is this and that. There is no visishta chaitanya anywhere. All is samanya chaitanya, pervades everything. That is the vijnana ghanam eva. So, etebhyo bhutebhyo samuttaya tan yevano vinasyati. So, into this, suppose what happens to. So, here we are describing the state of videha mukti. Videha mukti, therefore, we should know what is videha mukti, what is opposite. Jivan mukti. We should have understanding. And here it's saying is, when I leave this body, mind and intellect, when the jnani drops this body, mind and intellect, then what happens? He merges just like the salt merged in the ocean, where I cannot take it out as the particular salt out, or wherever I test, it is part of that only. He is pervading everything. One is become with one. So, this is when the whole body mind is get dissolved into that. It's gone. When the body mind intellect drops. So, what happens to the jnanam? What happens to the jivan mukta? What happens to the videha mukta? These have to be understood now. Jivan mukta concept is mostly in the Advaita Vedanta. Okay, in the Visishta Advaita, you cannot realize in this world. Whatever the moksha is not in this body. The body is too dirty. So you will be taken this way, sir, this way, sir, this way, sir, all the way to Vaikuntha if you are a Vaishnava. Otherwise, you have to go to the cool place. You know, where the Kailasa place. If you such a wait. So, because that's why, Vaishnava temple, there are a lot of advantage being a Vaishnava. You get good prasadam also when you go to. Otherwise, you get some vibhuti only for other places. So, Vaishnavis, they like pulihora, all those things, if you are Vaishnava. But anyway. So, this, for them, they had to go and you take a bath in the water, and then you will be dressed up by my mother Lakshmi Devi, and then once you dress up, he says, our beta, our child has come all the way. So he presented without dressing up, because otherwise you look to the father doesn't want to touch you. Mother is patiently enough, dress you properly, clean you out and all that. Say, boy has come or girl has come, was disappeared, and then presents it to the father. That's called Sri Vaishnavas. Sri is required. Through Sri only you can do Vishnu. That's what is implication. For we, Sri Visishta Advaita, the Advaita point, through Sri only we can go. How Sri? Through using the mind, part of the Prakriti, we have to realize. Remember, I told you Chidabhasa, all that has to be understood. Through equipments only, I have to realize that I am not the equipments. That has to be understood. So, philosophically, only how you interpret is this. Sri is nothing but the whole, everything is Sri only. So, through Sri, I have to say Narayana. So, Narayana is not recognized without Sri. So, if Narayana comes to your house, you may say, I heard you are looking for me. He has to show his badge, right? So, sir, FBI also comes, we have to say, where is your identity? And what he carries his identity, what is that? It's Kaustubam, where Lakshmi is there. Lakshmi has to show. Ishchate Lakshmi Japatnyo Auratre Pashve. So she's there, always carrying there. So he's called Lakshmi. But anyway, here, what is Jivan Mukta? What is the Videha Mukta? Says, while living itself, I understood that I am that. So when we go through the Vedantic education, we have crystal clear understanding without any doubts. Shrotavya Mata, we have no doubts of anything of this. Whatever questions you raise, I am able to answer that because I have clear understanding of it. If I have that knowledge, then that's understanding, that's it. Jnani doesn't have, there won't be any hollow behind you and there won't be, nothing will happen. Same thing. Then what exactly is the difference? The way it translates, if I recognize this as not as a thought, but as a fact, when I understood that this is real truth, I am indeed is that, even though I am occupying this upadhi. Remember, it's called upahita chaitanyam. I am the space inside the pot, but I am the total space. I understood. You can repeat the same thing, but it's the same thing. I understood. But if I am a heart, so what happens to the other part? Then I have not understood. Why? Because I am still seeing the other one is different from me. You remember that's why if you think you are a Brahmana, then you are not understood. You are differentiating and giving a reality to other. Any differences you give a reality, then that is the confusion. That means you have not understood. So we'll say, oh, I understand the Vedanta. Now what should I do? Now say, this is all intellectual stuff. I understood everything. Now I have to sit down and do experience that. What is that experience? It's called essentially aparoksha anubhuti. It's a direct and immediate right there. What is there to experience? When is the time I don't experience myself as I am? Then only I need experience. Therefore, all these confusions in terms of understanding what exactly jnanam is because of lack of proper sampradayic teaching. That's all it is essentially. Where a teacher who has learned from his teacher exactly what it means has to be teaching. Otherwise, it is a confusion only, gets confounded only. And this you see in all the discussion groups and all that people ask all sorts of questions because understanding, you say, what exactly? And one of the confusion is Jivan Mukta will not see the world because he realized I am everything. His knowledge is I am everything. Therefore, he cannot see differences of any kind. That's what if you say he is a Brahmana, he is differentiating. That's not what exactly means. What exactly means is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The second aspect has to be clear. What has to be understood? Jagat is Mithya. Mithya means what? Even though I experience it, it's not really real. That understanding has to be there even when I am looking at the world. That is the knowledge. Not that I won't see the world. So what is their explanation? I won't see the world. Then he is teaching. No, that is from the point of the student he is teaching. From the point of teacher he is not teaching. That's also nonsense. If the student thinks that teacher is teaching, he may see the teacher is teaching, but how can he project the teaching also? If he can project, then he doesn't need a teacher. Teacher has to teach from his knowledge only. That student cannot project it. So therefore, when I say that it's indeed is the Lord, you want to come inside or what's? Yeah, please. Oh, then you can sit down somewhere, basically. So, when he teaches, he has to teach. There is a student, there is a teacher. There is no confusion. Therefore, Shankara clearly states is Bhava Advaitam, not Kriya Advaitam. Bhava means have the clear understanding of Advaita as the essence of the whole thing, but while transacting, teacher is a teacher, student is a student. Mother is still a mother, a son is still a son. So that transactional realities need not be reality, but for transactions, it should be transactionally real. That's why knowledge does not destroy anything. Knowledge destroys only ignorance. So the plurality will still remain as the plurality, but reality that I assign to the plurality is gone because I understood it is mithya. Mithya means sadasat vilakshanam. It is neither real nor unreal, because it's not real because it's not Brahman, as immediately all the names and forms are not changing, but it's not also unreal because the reality is behind it. And therefore it is sadasat vilakshanam. Because therefore I am experiencing. Non-reality I cannot experience. Non-existent things I cannot experience. It's only existent things I can experience. Therefore, a Jivan Mukta, that's why Krishna gives a elaborate description in the Sita Prajna. Vidaraga Bhayakri, all those things are, slokas are there, but that is what exactly implied. He says, he sees but he doesn't see. Indriyarteshu vartante. Says, senses are going to operate and see sense things as long as senses are functioning. So as long as the hearing capacity is there, seeing capacity is there, mind is there, body is there, the world still will be pursued as it is. No changes of any kind. Mahatma also has to get up, Mahatma also has to eat, Mahatma also has to sleep, Mahatma also has everything, all transactions. So somebody asks you, you are also doing the same thing as I am also doing the same thing. You are also getting up, I am also getting up. You are also having breakfast, I am also having breakfast. Then why are people are namaskaram, putting namaskaram, and nobody puts namaskaram to me? I don't know why you want namaskaram, but anyway. You are respected, I am not respected. And one Mahatma answered, when I eat, I eat. When I sleep, I sleep. When I do this, I do that only. So I also do this. He says, no. Because when I do, my mind is elsewhere. So I say, whatever you do, your mind is always either thinking of the past or thinking of the future. You try yourself. Anytime, mind, only when concentrated education, you are attentively in the present. But anytime you think of something else, you are already thinking of the past or the future. And 90% of the people live in the past or in the future. And the present, who can only live in the present, you can only act in the present, you can only do anything in the present, and you don't live in the present, unfortunately, because you live in the past or in the future. That's what most of our problems are. So therefore, a Jivan Mukta is the one who can, while living in the world, have the clear understanding. With the understanding he operates. Therefore, his operation and the goals in life and the attitude towards actions are also different. So whatever he does becomes a loka kalyanam for the benefit of the society itself. Why? Everybody acts for their sake, right? That's what this scripture Upanishad started. He also acts for his sake. How? Because his sake is Brahman's sake. Because he understood he is a Brahman. Brahman is totality. So whatever he does for the totality, which is called is Loka Kalyana, benefit of the totality. That's why the Brahmavit, Brahmaiva Bhavati, knower of Brahman becomes Brahman, therefore he became Brahman. Which means Brahman is only acting as though. So therefore, and Brahman does act what? For Brahman's sake. You are acting for your sake, Brahman acts for Brahman's sake. So Brahman's sake is what? For the totality's sake, because Brahman is totality. So in either way, it is whatever he does. But he is eating breakfast for his sake, not for Brahman's sake. I know there is a in the Krishna Shtotra Namavali, one of the Namavalis says, Anadi Brahmacharine Namaha. If you go to Krishna, if you ask them, this is one of the names of Anadi Brahmachari. He is the one who married so many of them. So how can it be Anadi Brahmachari? He married, but he did not marry. That's why Krishna himself, remember, I gave that sloka, says, all beings are in me, but no beings are in me. From what understanding? His understanding is completely different from that point. How can he be? How can he have marriage involves two? Relationship. When there is only one, how can I relate to anything when there is only one? So the relationship itself is in the Vyavaharika state, not from the Paramarthika state. A jnani understands, even when he eats, he has to eat to keep the body going. He also feels cold, he also feels hot, he also feels all those, whatever the body problems belong to body. But yet, he is jnani. Why? He understood this is all within the realm of transactional reality only. So that has to be understood. So jnani operates in that. Now, when jnani operates in the world, because once we understood that I have no more doubts on it, you are a jnani. But what happens is, if I don't have the complete chitta suddhi, because knowledge can come, obstructing is not there for the knowledge, but intellectually I have understood from the intellectual level, this has to be assimilated at the mental, emotional level. That is called sthita prajna. Sthita prajna means not only prajna, I am fully abiding in the knowledge that what I have learned in my practice also has to come out. But whenever, because of the remanent raga dveshas that come in, because of the chitta suddhis are not complete, then raga dveshas will express itself. Therefore, nididhyasitavyaha. Remember what the nididhyasa comes into picture? Therefore only scripture is saying, even though you understood srotavyaha, mantavya, you understood everything. But nididhyasitavya, because the mind is not purified enough to be sthita prajnaha or jnana nishtha. It's called jnana nishtha. Or Ramana Maharshi says, dudhaiva nishtha. Satpratyaya. I don't remember. Satpratyasannu vihaya santam hrudyeshu tinta raito hrudakya katam smarama tamamiyamekam tasya smutai tatra dudhaiva nishtha. Is the first sloka of the Saddarshan. He wants to do prayer for the Lord. First sloka, normally you want to do the invocation of the Lord. How do you invoke it? He is a jnani, he is invoking out. Satpratya kinnu vihaya santam vihaya. Without the principle of existence, how can I think of something else? I want to think of you. What can I think of you? I have to think of you as existence only. But how can I think of existence? Because it's not some object to think. That itself is a prayer actually. Is an invocation song. That's a fact of truth itself is an invocation. What should I do? Just be. Because in the be, I am part of existence itself. So there's a story in that, I don't know, I'm just keep telling the story. But in that, it says, you heard Markandeya story, right? Markandeya story. So this boy Markandeya, who was born for only lived 16 years. So, because the parents did tapas and says, we want a boy. So the Lord gave the choice. You want a boy. What kind of child you want? I give you two choices. One, he is the brilliant guy who is very good, but he is going to live only 16 years. Or I will give you useless child who lives you forever. She survives you also. So, therefore, you want that kind of child or this kind of jnani, but only lives only 16 years. So, this fellow, what kind of choice is that? It's choiceless choice. If I ask for long life, they say he's going to live even beyond us also, causing problems to us and causing problems to everybody. So, if they ask for at least 16 years, we'll enjoy, we'll ask for that. So the boy was as promised, this very nice boy, and 16th year, Parents are worried and says, "Beta, you're going out, today is your 16th birthday and this is what happened." They told the story. Said, "Don't worry, I'll come back." He went direct to the Shiva's temple and doing puja and get into meditation. And you know the story, the Yama came there and he is not coming out of the Shiva, he was holding the Shiva's lingam and he put the Yama pasham and it's covered by even the lingam also. And Shiva came and gave a kick to that, called Mrityunjaya. Mrityunjaya is Lord Shiva. He conquered the Shiva. So how does the Ramana Maharshi explains this? Mrityunjayam mrityubhyasritanam. So when this once boy requested Lord to protect him, instead of protecting him, he destroyed him. That's what he says. A disciple goes to the Lord and says, please save me from the death. Instead of protecting him from the death, he destroyed the disciple itself. So what kind of Lord is this? This is the sloka. I don't know if you know, those who want to learn, we did Satdarshanam also. What he destroyed is notion that I am a disciple and this is the deity. That misunderstanding he destroyed. So there is no more disciple there. That means he has become one with the Lord. And therefore, Markandeya is 16-year-old only, even now. He is ever 16 years because he has become one with that. From there on, he is only Lord. So that becoming, once I become that, there is no more return, but understanding is what is required, and that is called the Jnana Nishtha. But until the Jnana Nishtha is there, because of the remnant Raga Dveshas, I will be going. Remember, I already go UPIR reduction, the FIR reduction, the frequency of disturbance, intensity of disturbance, and recovery from the disturbance goes slowly down as I firmly abide in this knowledge. That's called Jnana Nishtha. It's not a discrete event, it is continuously evolving event. Sometimes you yourself don't know. But you will see, you will not react violently as you used to be. You become more and more calm and quiet, tolerate other people's problems. Tolerate because this is a part of their growth also. Okay? That is part of growing up into this, into the Jnana Nishtha. So, when Jivan Mukta realizes, while living, this is the stage of this. Now, what happens when I know this is the truth? What I understood? I am the Brahman. So what happens to that? What happens is the Sanchita karma and the Agami karma gone. All those who understood that they are this pure consciousness. Sanchita karma is the total account. Is gone. What happened to the gown? We will address that a little bit. That will not belong to you because this guy has realized that, and therefore the subtle body is purified enough that all that previous karma does not belong to that subtle body anymore. Agami karma, the karma that is future, that is going to come, is also not there. So what is there is only prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma came with the body, mind and intellect. That's the one that provides you the particular body, particular mind and particular intellect. I am born in particular male or a female or a particular family because of my prarabdham. That is my prarabdham, you call it. Everybody says prarabdham. That's the one that is born in that particular form. That remains as long as the product of this body, mind and intellect remains. So as long as the body, mind and intellect are there, Prarabdha is continuing until the body, mind, intellect merges into this ocean that we are talking about. Follow now? So Jivan Mukta, even though he has realized, what happens is all the Sanchita karma and the Prarabdha karma is gone. all, not prarabdha, sandhita karma, agami karma is gone, only prarabdha karma is there as long as the body, mind and intellect are there. As long as the body, mind, intellect are there, the plurality of the world is there, and all the transactions are going on also at that level. But he knows what is the truth. At the same time, if there is remnant ragadveshas, he will be reacting also because of the remnant, but he recovers fast because of the knowledge. That's why there is no agami karma also. And when that body, mind, intellect also drops down, there is no more rebirth again, because the subtle body also disappears. Where does it go? It goes where it comes from. Where it came from? You remember the whole Panchabhutas came from where? From me sadeva saumya idamagramaasi dekameva advitiyam, all that. The existence alone was there before. It itself became many, including all these Panchabhutas, and by grossification, that is called, since Panchikarana process, it became grossified on this body, mind, intellect, all are nothing but Panchabhutas only. Panchabhutas are nothing but that only in different names and forms. It goes back to Panchabhutas. So now if you look at this sloka, with that understanding, where Jivan Mukta comes, where Videha Mukta comes, and what happens when the body itself drops down, and that's what is being explained here. This is one aspect of it. Second aspect, this sloka becomes very important in the sense that this is what gives you a Chidabhasa is different from the consciousness that is. That means there is a Samanya Chaitanyam, there is a Vishesha Chaitanyam. And this is a sloka that's being quoted in support of the Bimba Pratibimbavadas. The Bimbam is consciousness and reflected consciousnesses. And of course, Maitreyi will get confused a little bit, and we will address that later. But here, Sayatha Saindhava Kilya. So just as when I dropped this Saindhavam, that is the salt, Kilya is a piece of salt, when I thrown into the water, it gets dissolved. In the same way, this Evam va ara idam mahadbhutam, which is anantam aparam vijnana ghanameva, etebhyo bhutebhyaha samuttaya tanvana vinasyati na pretya sanyasti iti. So when it gets dissolved into that slowly, when the consciousness, when the body drops down, what happens? There is no more reflected consciousness. Remember, wherever there is a subtle body, the consciousness is all pervading, every time is there, but it is getting reflected. When I remove that medium of reflection completely, then there is no more reflection. What is there? Original one is there all the time. Nothing happened to the original. The original is all the time there. Therefore, the reflecting medium, that is the mind that is there, it slowly gets lost, dissolved in the process, because mind has no more purpose. What is the mind? Mind wants, I want to this, I want this, I want this. There are remnant vasanas demanding this I want, that I want, that I want. So likes and dislikes or vasanas are there. That will propel me to take another birth, because this birth is no more useful. Therefore I am going for a birth after birth after that. Purarapi maranam, purarapi janam. What is that? This is the subtle body that is doing it, enlivened by the consciousness, which is reflected by the consciousness. God, wherever the subtle body, consciousness gets reflected. So if you understand all this methodology, what is jiva, who is going from one birth to other birth and all that, this becomes clear. It is the mind and subtle body together, moving from one environment to other environment. The people ask, how come I don't remember previous lives and all that? Thank goodness you don't remember. Lord has put a very, if you remember that I have other wife and this wife and previous wife to wife, all those things, if I start remembering, I have one wife here, a problem to keep her happy. Not that this is for example, but now we're talking about the previous life and all that. There was a story, something, small girl, when they took to some village and all that, suddenly she recognized that she came from that village only, that she was from the previous birth from that, and she went at the old man sitting there and said, he's my husband. This 6-year-old girl saying that old man is my husband. What the husband of that man is looking at? What is this girl saying? And what is our husband to my son? She was able to recognize all the house and everything, and asking about her son, who is already maybe about 50, 60-year-old son, and all those things. What they will do with this girl? Oh, you are my mother and all that you think they can do? The parents have to take her back and say, beta, don't worry, forget all that and let's start from the beginning. So, Lord has put a screen for us to forget all that, and so that just this life enjoy. Enjoy or suffer, whatever the consequence of that. And remember, you don't suffer for unnecessarily. Because Krishna declared so beautifully, Samoham sarvabhuteshu namitveshostina priyaha. See, I am samam for everyone. No partiality. Just because you are doing coconut every day and this one doesn't mean that he is going to bless you more compared to other guys who is not giving and he is not even turning towards him. No favorites of anything. But when you come to me with proper understanding, I bless him because I am blessed there anybody. If he invokes him in the wrong way, you are blessing him for that also. Because he is there in that body also, blessing him. Whatever he is doing. A terrorist is also being blessed by the Lord to do whatever he is trying to do. Because without the Lord's presence, he cannot do anything also. He may not recognize it. That's a separately. If he recognizes, he won't do that also. That's a different. All that are involved here. So, when I have that understanding, whatever that comes to me as a part of prarabdha, a jnani will understand it is just prasadam. How does he look at? He may have throat cancer like the Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had. Even Ramana Maharshi had a problem with the hand. And people say, okay, he did not get anesthesia, he was doing that because that's not a sign for jnanam. You are anesthesia, but that for a different reason. Just because of that, that's a body problem, is a body problem. There's also in one Mahatma, somebody went and cut his hand and he didn't even know, and somebody came and put the hand back again, he didn't know. It's not like that. So all those things are only cock and bull stories. What is he has transcended, I am not the body, but the body problem is still body problem only. If he has a cough, he will have a cough. If he has a fever, he will have a fever. Body has to go through the problem. That's a part of the prarabdha karma. And if he can't solve for proper medication, then also he will do it. If the heart needs a transplant, it will go through transplant. There is no problem in that. But at the same time, he transcended that in the sense that it is the part of the prarabdha that comes, accept whatever that comes that you cannot change. This is true for all of us also. Why? This is a part of my previous actions that are done, whether knowingly or unknowingly. I don't suffer for anything unnecessarily. God is impartial. Therefore, whatever I come, it's because of my problem. Yajyadbhavyam magadabhagavan purva karmanu rupam. This is a Kulashekara verse statement. Why should I ask you anything if I go to the temple and ask you something unnecessarily? Because you don't give me anything unnecessarily also. Whatever I am, whatever is according to my prarabdha, you give. Because he is not going to, because you already declared I am equal to everybody. But then I say, why should I go in temple and pray? The people ask all these questions, right? Is there again something pray? Yes, if you are in trouble, pray. What happens? Not that God is going to give something. You get a peace of mind so that your mind becomes clear enough to know how to solve the problem. At least you get a better solution at that time when the mind is clear. When the mind is disturbed, you cannot really think properly. That's the benefit. Remember, I told you from triangular format to a binary format. You are going from the Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat. Now you are with the understanding, you are going to a binary format. What is the binary format? Atma and Anatma. With that understanding, any trouble comes, I have no business to run to the temple again. Oh Lord, please solve this problem. I may run, oh Lord, let me recognize you even in this problem also, if I forgot. So prayer becomes completely different for Jnani. What does he pray? What should I go to the temple? What do I do in the temple? When I go to the temple, what should be my attitude in the temple? I have to see, oh Lord, please let me see you everywhere all the time. Let me remember you all the time, anytime. So from tomorrow on, let's say today, of tomorrow on, after this camp is over, what should I do? First thing in the morning, until this knowledge has become a daily thing and all the time, I had to make it as a daily thing and all the time. So start with the day, with the prayer, invoking the presence of you everywhere or Lord everywhere, either way. So now you know there is Atma and Anatma only. So you can say, I am same thing in my own wife or my spouse sleeping next to me. It is me only in my child. It's me only on the dog there. It's me only in a different thing. See your own presence in everything that you transact or you're going to transact with. See your own self there. Let me remember it's my own self there also. If I start the day with that understanding, even while transacting, I forgot this. In the emotional attitudes because of my ragadveshas. And I come back in the night, oh, I forgot this and I acted. Oh Lord, let me be again, tomorrow when I encounter again, at least let me remember again that it's me only. How can I be nasty to somebody, say me only? I cannot be nasty to, I cannot be greedy, I cannot be selfish. If I understand all that, that knowledge becomes, slowly sinks into the degree that it becomes a natural, that remembrance. So it has to be, that's why Atmetyo upasita. Atma iti eva, everything is upasita. I have to at least invoke as my presence, even when I'm going to translate, when I forget it or not. I start the day, I end the day with this. In the process, in between, whenever, wherever there is a satsang or an occasion or an opportunity to listen or to read or to write, to talk, to do anything about this, involved in that, that is the only way to keep that constant, the understanding of that flowing to the degree that mind, which is having a groove of something else, has to have a groove of this also. It has to be done by sadhana only, until it becomes a natural. So here, this example of, it is a salt example is given, number one, to say what happens to the Videha Mukti. And while living Jnana Mukti, he has realized, but if there is no ragadveshas, he lives as a Jivan Mukta only. And what happens when he sleeps, deep sleep state? Is he ignorant? No, the mind that knows also is folded there. Just as a physics professor sleeps as a physics professor only, the mind of the physics professor only folded there. The potential knowledge is still there. A Mahatma sleeps as a Mahatma only. An ignorant guy also sleeps as an ignorant guy only. No knowledge will take place in the deep sleep state. So this is the same thing also in any stage. But once I understand it, I had no more purpose of life itself. Kruta krutyaha, that means what need to be done has been done. No more to-do list. Which means I have accomplished what need to be accomplished. So not only this life, there is no other life beyond that. So even if I am not jnana nishtha because of the lingering vasanas, there is no rebirth. Because I understood. That's why agami karma is not there, sanchita karma is there. Only prarabdha karma is there until this BMI drops down. When the BMI drops down, there is no sanchita karma anymore. Therefore, there is no rebirth also. Follow? Svalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate. So it's even little bit of this Vedantic knowledge is enough to germinate this, and it will grow. If not this, later again. Okay? So therefore, satsangatve nissangatvam will come into picture. So this is the story of where the whole, everything is explained by that, and perhaps at that time the lady raises a question. So hovacha yajnavalkya brhuimiti. So what he says, na pretya sanya asti. So na asti. Na asti means it's no more there. What? Says sanya. Sanya stands for consciousness. So consciousness is no more there, he said. The last line of the 12th sloka. So vinasyati na pretya sanya asti iti. Are my dear, bruvimi iti. So I'm saying, ho vachi yajnavalkya. So Yajnavalkya said, as he is ending this sloka, says, from then on, once it gets dissolved into it, totality, when the BMI drops, there is no more consciousness. That's all the statement was. Now, what is the no more consciousness? Now we understand what is the implication, right? What is no more? The Upahita Chaitanyam has become, there is no more Visishta Chaitanya, there is only Samanya Chaitanya. Right? Now understood. But, see, Maitreyi didn't attend the Memorial Day camp, so she asked a question. So 13. We have 13 and 14. Ours is 320, right? Okay, well, I propose something. We can finish this, okay? And then whatever position, and then we can have tea after that. These are two more slokas are there. 320 is right. So we'll finish it, but we can have the ending, whatever Gurudakshina, this one is over. Then we can dismiss for the tea and this one, and then go from there. Want people again come back? That's what the question is. We can complete it? Okay. This will be the last session, that's what it means. Depending on that, I can talk. Okay, let's see what now Maitreyi is asking a question now. Saho vacha Maitreyi atraiva ma bhagavan amu muhat na pretya sanyastidi saho vacha nama areham moham bravimi alamba ara idam vijanaya. So sa Maitreyi uvacha, she said, Maitreyi says, atra eva ma bhagavan amu muhad. That caused me confusion. You have put me into confusion, or thrown me into the confusion. Maitreyi, Bhagavan, you have thrown me into confusion. Amu muhad. Amu muhad means you have thrown me into confusion by what? Na pretya sanya asti iti. By saying that there is no more consciousness after that. By saying that, you put me into confusion. Sahovacha. Says now, because Yajnavalkya did not specify what consciousness get destroyed there. He assumed that she understood. Why? Why Yajnavalkya did not say? Because from the point of pure consciousness, no creation at all. So any dissolution only we can talk about from the point of Vyavaharika Satyam. Yeah? So when Sun says the body mind is only from the Chidabhasa we can talk about realization, but pure all-pervading consciousness, there is no realization of any kind. It's only for the Chidabhasa. When Chidabhasa, when that get dissolved, when it's thrown into this one, when you talk about, it's only destruction of this Chidabhasa only, not the pure consciousness, because we cannot say anything about pure consciousness. So, he did not have to actually say anything because from the pure consciousness, the whole discussion is meaningless. It's only from the point of who thinks I am this and this, that no more this and this, that conscious of things cannot be there anymore, has to be gone. So therefore, Sahovachari aham moham bruvimi alam varam idam vidati. No, I did not confuse you. He says essentially, Saha uvacha are ham moham bruvimi alam varam idam janaya. So, no, I did not confuse you. You got confused, but I did not confuse you. Yes. There's a difference in this statement. So you can use this technique for anybody. Somebody say, hey, you did this. No, I didn't do it. I only this, but you got it done that way. From your look, from your point, you're confused, but I didn't confuse it. And with that, it says, alam, that means enough. The teaching is over with this. Why? Everything is dissolved. That which is individual has realized, and by the prarabdha karma which is over, when the things are dropped, everything has become one. One becomes the old samanya chaitanya, which is all-pervading, eternally present, never modified anything. It is pure existent consciousness itself. Now, there are two things. Remember, in the salt example, we cannot take the same salt again out of that. So no jnani can come out of that. All we think of Shankara is Shankara, avatar of Shankar Bhagavatpada, and Ramanuja is avatar of the Lakshmana, Ramanuja is called Lakshmana avatar, and Madhva people think that he is avatar of Hanuman. Everybody is avatar of something else, right? That is our glorification of a teacher. Reverential attitude that it is the Lord Himself in the form. But from the point of jnani, once God dissolved, you cannot take the same crystal out. You can get another crystal, that's different. You cannot take the same crystal out. That's a salt example. Has to be understood clearly. So no jnani will be reborn again. But then avataram is different. So you have to differentiate between avataram versus an evolution of a person to become a jnani. Avataram is what? Avatarati, coming down. What is coming down? The totality himself is crystallizing in some form. Not a particular aspect of the totality crystallizing here, but the totality itself is crystallizing in particular form is avataram. Depending upon the need of the situation. He can take a birth in a yoni, or he can come out of a pillar also. That depending upon what need to be solved. That is avatar. Avatarati. Whereas this one is when the jnani dissolves into himself. Remember, same crystal cannot be taken out of that again. That means no more of that particular jiva is coming out. No more that particular mind and intellect forming another body for you to come and teach. There is one fellow who was So much of Shankara Bhakta says, oh Lord, he's praising Lord, our Shankaracharya. Says, until I realize, whenever I am born, you be my teacher. That means what? He also has to be born to him for him to teach again. So until this guy realizes, he has to take different births also. So that will not happen. So that's also part of that Lavana example also. Now here, the confusion is only in terms of Maitreyi understood is the only thing that is becoming one. The whole consciousness is disappearing, and therefore Yajnavalkya teaches the last sloka. So when say consciousness, who is conscious of what? When I say I am conscious, means I have already localized myself as Chidabhasa. Consciousness does not know. It cannot know. Pure consciousness, that is all-pervading consciousness, and no means to know anything. But it is jnanam. It is jnana swarupam, not jnanam. Jnana swarupam. So it means its nature itself is consciousness. But it cannot be conscious of, because if there is a conscious of, there must be something other than itself to be conscious of. Right? So we are all conscious of the whole, because we feel the world is different. Now the knowledge is, even though we are conscious of the world because of the equipments that BMI we have, the knowledge now comes and says that is not separate from you. So in and so the differences, see the unity that is pervading, that is a knowledge for the one who has crystallized in the Chidabhasa. Follow now, all that is clear now? At least to me it's clear, but it's because whole knowledge is coming only from the point of, so the jnanam and vijnanam, everything is only in the vyavaharika state. From the point of consciousness, no jnanam. It is pure jnana swarupam. No ananda, no. Ananda swarupam. Its nature itself is that. And it is indivisible of any kind. There is no difference of any kind in that. Sajata vijata swagata vedas. Therefore, from that, there is nothing to be conscious of from the pure consciousness. For me to be conscious of anything, or that means essentially to know anything, I need the mind. When I say I am conscious of, means I already have a mind to be conscious of something. So I have a reflected consciousness. Chidabhasa has to be there for conscious of this also. Follow? If you understand it, then the whole 14th sloka, last one becomes clear. Yatra hi dvaitamiva bhavati taditara itaram jighrati taditara itaram pasyati taditara itaram shrunoti taditara itaram abhivadati taditara itaram manute taditara itaram vijanati yatra va asya sarvam atmaiva. So yatra va asya sarvam atmaiva abhut tatkena kim jigret tatkena kam pasyet tatkena kam shrunayat tatkena kam abhivadet tatkena kam manveta tatkena kam vijaniyat yenedam sarvam vijanati tam kena vijaniyat vijñātāram are kena vijaniyādati vijanayaditi iti chaturtham brahmanam. So yatra hi dvaitameva bhavati tad itara itaram jigrati. Wherever there is a duality, dvaitam iva bhavati. Whenever Duality. Tad itaram bhavati. One sees oneself, one smells oneself, all those operations goes on. So here, jigrati, pasyati, srunoti, itaram abhivadati, one talks to others, one sees others, one thinks all. Whenever there are two, all these transactions occur. And we see that in the deep sleep state. When there is no two, there is no jigrati, no smelling, no touching, none of those things can occur because there is no duality. Wherever there is a duality, this cannot but happen. When there is a duality, also the fear comes. Fear comes, ditiyadvo bhayam bhavati. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also it says, ditiyadvo bhayam bhavati. So fear comes from the second. So the implication is, I am not afraid in the deep sleep state. Other people may be afraid that I may get up, that's a separate thing. But I am not afraid of deep sleep state. I am afraid of nothing is there, no fear, no other emotions are also there. That's why people take sleeping pills to go there. Why? Because that's so happy, no problems. Even body problems you won't have because you are not the body. That's why you go there, right? If it is a problem, that will remain, it cannot leave you. It is not your Swarupa Lakshanam, it is only body problems. So if I understand it, so yatra hi dvaitameva bhavati, wherever there is a duality, this is misunderstood again by a lot of people, even Advaitins. He says, if it is a jnani, once he has realized, how can he see? He has realized, I am Brahman, there is no question of seeing anything. The mind is not there. And people say, now mind has been killed. And Ramana Maharshi also says, sometimes says, Manasantu kim margane krute naiva manasam marga arjavat. Says, when I inquire into what is the mind is no more there. So just for clarification, I must have told many places also, mind we have to think of three things. One is a useless mind, which is called the mind that keep jumping from one to the other. That is essentially wool gathering mind. And the mind which is objective mind, and the mind which is avesham, where emotional pressure is so much that I am engulfed with that mind, avesham. So the mind that is wool gathering is the mind. Most of our minds are that. When we think about mind, has to think all the time something. But you will be thinking one thing or the other thing and other thing, keep on jumping, whole thing is going on continuously something or other. Why? You jump from one thought to other thought, other thought, other thought, other thought. You travel all over the world as you are walking. Right? That's why I said you won't live in the present, you live either in the past or future only. Mind keeps jumping from one thought to other thought. That's the nature of the mind. That's useless mind. Because half an hour is gone, nothing is, no knowledge out of it. Whereas objective mind is one which has notions which are deep-rooted as truth. Whether it's a belief system or a system where with a correct knowledge also. That is the same mind. That mind which has a belief system has to be educated what is real and what is real. That mind is what is present in the Vedantic study. And the third one is more dangerous mind, is avesham, means you remember same movie going on and on and on and on until you become a neurotic because, oh, he did like that, he said that, how dare he said like that, how he insulted like that. He's sleeping, whatever he did, that fellow is sleeping comfortably, but I am not able to sleep, having the same thing again and again and again until I become mental. That is the neurotic mind. So the evolution of the mind is, what is the mind that get destroyed? When Ramana Maharshi says that manasantu kim margane krute naiva manasam arga ajava, that is straight path. What is the mind that get destroyed? It is the notional mind that I have, notion that I am this, I am this, I am this. That gets destroyed by correct knowledge. That is what has to be understood. It's not the mental destruction, it is the notional destruction of the notional mind only. Because Chidabhasa is there, whenever the mind is there, Chidabhasa. What about the Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Nirvikalpa Samadhi is nothing but mind is still there, but mind, instead of looking out, it is looking at itself. I told you already, right? So Nirvikalpa Samadhi is where the mind is, where I can be in the Savikalpa Samadhi, I can be awake, they call it Sahaja Samadhi also, where I can be awake, I can be looking at everybody, I am transacting, at the same time my mind is like a Shruti of our music, always thinking, this is what I am, this is what I am, this is what I am, is always there. That is what is natural Samadhi, Sahaj Samadhi, or Savikalpa Samadhi. Even thoughts may be there, I am there. How can thoughts can disturb me? I am the one who supports the thoughts also. So that is the natural state where I can be in meditation while sitting anywhere. Or even not sitting also. Somebody asked Swamiji, so when do you meditate? Question itself becomes meaningless, because when is that he is not in meditation? I gave that stupid example to him. I was in that stupid state when in the last camp I might have told, the last camp was in Maryland, and I took Gurudev. There's one person who was in charge of the youth camp, and he had some problem. And then only they realize, when there is a problem, they realize that I am responsible for the camp. So I was dragged in, says, can you come and the Gurudev tell them, because some kids are not behaving properly. They were not dressing properly or acting properly. This is because it's a youth camp, and youth are youth. So anyway, I took that person who is in charge of the youth camp and the Gurudev, and then sitting there, and Gurudev, he knows when I come, he says there's some problem. Yes. It's the style of Gurudev. So, Swamiji, this is what is happening. I explained, and then he was just listening. Swamiji, can you tell this? So I was instructing Swamiji what to tell to the youth. Sitting there, you have to tell this so that youth behave, otherwise he was telling, he was looking at me. He didn't, this is how we learn from the Guru. You're looking at me seriously. Is that all you learned? That's what his statement was. Yes, I was wondering, what is it? Do you really think I was the one who sits there and talks? That's it. I immediately got up, put Sashtanga Namaskaram there. No further questions. Because teaching is over. What he said is teaching. Because when he sits in the seat of that, it's not person that is talking, the talking comes through him. And that's the beauty, he says. That's why when anybody sits in the Acharya position, it is the Vyasapita. It's called Vyasapita. With a reverence, you have to sit down, because what comes is not yours. And by the way, when I told already, I guess, when we are having a Virginia, we have Brahmachari in the son, says, we need another Brahmachari in Virginia. He straight looked into my face. He's at the same time around there, because we already have a center here. You start teaching. You can't give brahmacharis, too many brahmacharis. Then I was just looking at him, staring at him. He says, don't worry, it will come. That's all the statement. No further questions. So it is not that I am going to, all that God disappears once you have that faith in that, of course. So, I don't know why I told, but essentially what comes out of the Mahatma, it's not the plurality, it is essentially that flows through everless, because who is the doer? Either you can say the Atma is a doer himself, Atma doesn't do it, but at the same time Atma is doing it. It is the creationless creation itself. So it becomes a vibhuti of the Lord. So whatever that comes is prarabdha, whatever it is taken away, it goes back. If I accept prarabdha as Ishvara Purdi, that's why we to get the training, right? When we go to the temple, we act, when we say it's prasadam, it doesn't matter what it is. It may be pulihora, good, or even vibhuti also. We accept it with a reverential attitude because it's coming from the Lord. But if he is karma phala data, this is the result of the action that is done, and he is the giver of the results. Karturajnaya prapyate phalam. So all phalam, all the results are come from him. If I have that, then it is a prasada buddhi comes into picture. So jnani accept whatever that comes. So even jivan mukta goes through but accepts as a prasada. But until then, I had to learn to accept whatever that comes as prasadam. Follow now? It is for us now. So whatever in the life that we are leading, all sorts of things come into picture, but have an attitude, because running to the temple and this one now, Atma and Atma vichara only. There is no more triangular format. It's a binary format. There is only me and the world, which is anatma. Anatma cannot do anything to me because I am the very support for everything. So whatever that comes, let it come and let it go. Because of the past actions, this is coming, and future actions, it will also go. So with that attitude, the attitude in terms of reactions will not be there. I become impervious to the ups and downs of the life itself. And that's what is essentially here. Whenever there is a duality, all these senses are functioning, and I am assuming that it's real. Therefore, one talks, one sees, one hears others, one communicates with others, and one thinks of other things. Taditara itaram manuti, taditaram itaram vijanati. One understand this, or knowledge of this and that will take place. Yatra va asya sarvam atmaiva abhut. When everything has become one as the self itself, as I am, tatkena kam jigredev. Then who is there to smell what? I smell myself, I can't smell myself. It's only I can smell other things only. So it's tatkena kam pasye, tatkena kam srunaya. So all other activities of five senses, indriyan indriyartheshu vartante. Pasyan, srunvan, jigran, remember all that slokas. Now if you read those slokas, you see the meaning of the beauty of that slokas now. Where the seeing is going on, but I can see as I am a witnessing consciousness. Remember the meditation now. I am the witnessing consciousness, seeing the body, mind and intellect functioning in this other body, mind and intellect. I am there here, I am there in that also. That becomes a knowledge only. So here the emphasis is when tatkena kim jigrati, tatkena kam pasyed, what is there to see who what? There is neither a seer not seen, because all is one only, same thing. And tatkena kam manvita, tatkena kam vijanaya. Edam sarvam vijanati, tam kena vijanayat. Vijñātaram are kena vijanayaditi. And here is the statement says, who realizes what? In the final analysis, you're talking about realization. Who realizing what? Inert things cannot realize. I am nitya mukta swarupoham. When I am nitya mukta swarupoham, I am eternally liberated, then where is the bondage? So when jnani realizes, he realized that he never had this problem before. I am nitya muktaha. That should be the understanding of a jnani. So if a jnani asks, when did you realize? He says, realize what? In between there is some notion that I was stupid, now I am no more, I don't have no more that notion. I was there, from the beginning I have there, because there is no question of realization and not realization. So even realization is transactionally only, not at the absolute sense. From absolute sense, it is one without a second of anything else. With that, it is Chaturtham Brahmanam. This is the fourth Brahmana of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, of the third chapter, fourth chapter, or second chapter in the, starting from the from the Upanishad part. So with that, we have to do some, because those who have attended, those who I already said, if we have gained something out of it, according to tradition, knowledge will not remain with you unless you give back something to the organization that provided the facilities and all that. So those who want, who think they are, and how much you have to give? Proportion to how much you have gained. If you have not gained anything, there is no point in giving. Only if you have taken something, you have to give it back, right? So that is the policy of that. So if we have a Guru Dakshina envelopes, if you don't have Guru Dakshina envelope, he is going to distribute the Guru Dakshina envelopes, and we will do Purnamada Purnamidam. Then you can take, and if you don't have checkbooks and all that, don't worry. Our treasurer is very, very smart. So all you have to do is, I owe you, and he will be after you. So you can write it down, whatever you want to give, offer it as an attitude of prayer. And then when you offer it, think of the Lord, say, you are not doing anything, it's not yours. Remember, Swamiji said, what I have is his gift, and what I do with what I have is my gift to him. It's a famous statement. So you have to return back to him whatever he gave you in a way. So remember Maitreyi statement. What was the Maitreyi statement? Even if you give the whole world with all the wealth, would I reach Amrutatvam? No. So what do I have to do Amrutatvam? Attend the Memorial Day camps. Okay, thank you. Let's do Purnamada now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.